do some wild west math right now, so don't hold me to these numbers 100%. But I want to give you a quick idea on how Walmart and other big box stores um, end up really crushing the opportunities that people have to really become and crawl out of middle class up into the upper middle class by being a small business owner, from being an entrepreneur. And there used to be a lot of hate when a Walmart come to town, when a Home Depot come to town, and they would come in and they would run all these smaller stores out of business. And people saw you see like a shift in the local economy. And I'll start telling you a quick reason why that happens. So, and then I just did some really quick research. You can't really don't hold me to these numbers because it's the internet. Who knows what's real? Let's say the average Walmart store does $50 million in a year. I think they do like 150,000 a day in sales or some shit. Let's just use $50 million a year in sales. If you took away that Walmart and you divided that 50 million in sales by, let's say, $750,000, you would be able to create about 60 to 65 smaller stores with 60 business owners at that point to do the same kind of volume that a Walmart does. Maybe there's stores that did 2 or 3 million and some that did 500,000. There's a mix. But let's just say, even at 750,000 and the owner was making 20-25% profit, they could make $150,000 to $175,000 a year as a business owner. The issue is Walmart and these Home Depots and Lowe's and Menards, they move in, Target, and it kills those 60 jobs where there was some upper middle class, somewhere where you could go start your own business and grind. You had to work 7 days a week and really put the work in, but it gave someone an opportunity to get out of the middle class and into the upper middle. That is how I've seen a lot of wealth created over the years, especially in the manufacturing industry, is the people that ran these $1 to $2 million businesses with a little bit of a decent profit margin. Yeah, they weren't the next Warren Buffett, but it gave them a path to become wealthy. So when these stores move in, they end up removing 100 or 150 of these real upper middle class jobs. And what it happens is all that profit that would have been spread across, these people in your community, it just gets pushed up the chain to corporate, right? And you don't see that in your community anymore. They create, like, the store manager makes good money, and maybe a couple other managers make okay money, and they create a whole shit ton of these, 12 to $15 an hour type of jobs. And we're so much about convenience now and low price, like we don't even care about that. We it benefits us more as an individual. So we're like, oh well, if it crushes 50 people, small business owners, you realize those small business owners are the ones that often donated to your school, to your like local baseball team, to your local cancer 5K. It was those people that had the extra disposable income that were able to put the money back in your community. It doesn't happen now. That profit that would have went to the small business owners, it just runs up the chain to Walmart corporate. And now it doesn't really come back to your community as much. And there's like, the little irritations where you saw someone that owned a local hardware store, maybe they did like $1.5 million. They built a nicer house in your community. They probably spent more money. The thing is that money that stayed in the community often gets spent in your community as well. So let's just say the guy ran a $3 million hardware store, and let's just say he was making $500,000 a year, throwing some big numbers out there. How much of that $500,000 went back into the community, where now it goes to Walmart and it goes somewhere else? And that's just one of those things that I can see why people hate the big box stores. And I know I'm way oversimplifying this, but I see this happen quite a few times in other scenarios where you just saw like small business get crushed. I'm tired, personally, I'm tired of everything being in a goddamn strip mall. There's nothing original anymore. Everything's a franchise. Every new restaurant that pops up is a franchise in a strip mall. Strip Mall 101. They put up a strip mall. They put in a dry cleaner. They put in like a sandwich shop. They put like it's the same shit over and over. There's nothing original anymore. I miss that restaurant that was its own standalone building. It had its own character where they actually made the food there. Now it's just franchise after franchise. Everything is it's cookie cutter Sim City shit. Um, I'm not into that anymore. I don't think I was ever into it. But like this is what we're kind of surrounded by, where everything's just corporate, everything's franchise, and everything's the goddamn same. To even get one of those franchises, um, if you look at like the wealth requirements, the amount of money, the amount of liquid assets you need to get into a franchise now. On top of it, they usually want you to open up multiple units on top of it. It's not even accessible to someone in the middle class anymore. Where many years ago, you could save your money up and buy a Subway, and you save your money up and you get another Subway like that. It's harder than ever to do something like that. But I missed a hardware shop where I could walk in and actually talk to someone that knows what the hell is going on. You walk into Home Depot and they scatter like roaches. No one wants to help you. And if you do talk to someone, it's like they don't even know what the hell they're talking about half the time. I miss walking into a hardware store and the guy that's been there 25 years that owns a place is like, yeah, you need this M6 nut in like this washer, 35 millimeter. Like, just knowing. I miss that stuff. And you can't get that anymore. It's things are cheaper and it's more convenient. It's all in one place, but in a way, it's not better. It's we crush small business. I'm very pro small business. I think that's it helped me crawl out of the gutter. Like I got started in tech, and it got me out of where I was, and then I was able to go start a company. And just no one in my family was successful. Hell, I don't think anyone in my family, my parents, their parents, no one, they didn't graduate high school. Small business allowed me to escape, but it's getting harder and harder to do that because everywhere you go, it's Firehouse Subs and Cabela's and Jersey Mike's and it's Target, it's Menards, it's Walmart, it's Home Depot. You can't do anything anymore. You hope to go start an app. Like that's, and how many apps are started every day that nobody needs to begin with. So just one of those things that if you look at the impact of what, it's like they took away the for every store that comes in, they take away the 60 business owners and they replace it with a shit ton of like 15-hour jobs. And granted, you could get in there and bust your ass and climb your way up, but there's less and less and less of those mid-level paying jobs where the middle class shrunk. A lot of people went upper middle class because of the tech jobs and finance jobs, and a lot of people went down though. And I think a lot of the people that went down because there's not that opportunity to grow as much because everything's a big box store, everything's a franchise. It's less manufacturing. There's less and less ways to if you want to transcend, if you want that upward mobility, it's getting a little bit harder. It still exists, but it's like Amazon owns your ass. Like something one out of 150 people in this country works at Amazon or something. So I always think about my old block. Like shit, there's probably how many people just over a couple blocks that worked at Amazon now. And it's like, do you want Amazon holding the keys to your entire future? Like you're gonna wake up one day and one out of 50 jobs is Amazon, and that's your only choice. Like, ugh. Not sure how I feel about that, but I don't feel good. Anyways, just think about that for a minute. If you took a Walmart and you just went back to the old days, you think about how many small plumbing stores or electrical stores or hardware stores you might have, small retail places. I mean, Home Depot sells furniture, patio sets. You used to have a lumber yard, and then you could go to a hardware store, and it sucked because you had to go to different places. But was it better for the community that way? I don't know. It's the same. The people you try to argue with about Uber, they're all like technology and Uber, and then it's like, but the drivers really get, it seems like the drivers don't get the best deal. I'm like, the people don't care as long as it saves them money. At the end of the day, people don't care. We're always going to do what's best for us. We're going to look for the lowest price, and we can say one thing that maybe it's not great for the drivers or great for small business owners or whatever, but if it benefits us and it's the cheapest way to do it, well, we'll just keep doing it. We're selfish that way. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. I'll catch you on the next one.